changed different now, got the cheat code. Lottie, I just watching, you ain't got the cheat code. Can't stay the same, yeah, you gotta switch it up. Can't stay the same, yeah, you gotta switch it up. Game changed different now, got the cheat.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Goddess Giselle Podcast. I'm your host, Goddess Giselle. If you're new here, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. So I created this space to really create a safe space for women making an impact in their communities across the world. And so I'm so happy to continue these conversations to really enlighten audiences with information that you may have not known, and really just giving the women who are making an impact a chance to just share their authentic selves here on the Goddess Giselle Podcast. Because again, this is a safe space. You're tuned in to episode 17. We are already at episode 17. I am so excited to welcome Bianca Wise, who is an entrepreneur, author, speaker, and mindset strategist. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Bianca. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm absolutely splendid. What's up, Giselle?
Okay, I'm splendid.
Giselle.
Exactly. Okay, because we are radiating. We are in welcoming our own goddess energy into the chat. Okay, we don't have to shrink ourselves or play small or act like we ain't the whole space. Okay, so I just love to cultivate that for you and everyone who's watching. You are a goddess. Okay, and I say that meaning the image of God, right? So we're created in the image of God, and so the goddess meaning feminine. So let's honor who we are as divine creators and co-creators with Source. So welcome to the channel, Goddess Bianca.
Thank you.
And I just love your last name. I feel like was that ever a thing where you could kind of play with that all through life? Because Wise is it's kind of a flex a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
It's definitely a flex. This is my married name. So I married into this name.
Okay.
And honestly, I did tell my husband, God forbid, if anything ever happens between him and I'm keeping the name.
There you go.
I don't know if you remember that scene from What's Love Got to Do with It, when Tina and Ike was in the courtroom and she's like, I want to keep my name. Yeah, that's
exactly.
I want to keep my name.
Listen, because I love that. We can be in Wise. Okay, so the theme is Wise. Bianca, I always like to ask guests as before we start our conversation, if you could name off the bat 3 people that inspire you, who would they be and why?
3 people. So I always like to say that my mentors or people that I am inspired by are a lot of them are dead. You can still find inspiration from people who have transitioned on. So I would say one of my inspirations is the late Bob Proctor, which, if anybody is not aware, Bob Proctor was a big professional development mindset coach for 60-something years, just teaching, empowering people to really tap into that self-awareness and develop a standard for themselves, with the understanding that if you are, if you believe, if you apply yourself, you can achieve anything. Another inspiration, I honestly will say, it was my mother. My mother actually passed away. It'll be 20 years this year.
Oh,
I cannot believe I'm saying that. Yeah, she passed away in 2005. But just remembering the posture of my mother. My mother was a boss before we even realized what that term boss meant. She worked for the federal government. She was up every day, 4:00 in the morning. She had to commute from Baltimore to DC for her position. 2 young kids, single parent household, just doing it. Like, I do not ever remember my mom calling out sick or having excuses about anything, or just carrying herself in a subpar way. We never wanted for anything. I honestly don't know how much my mom was making back then, but we always got what we asked for, within reason.
Yeah.
And the third person that inspires me I would say is, oh man, I have so many people. It's actually someone who probably don't even know me. Like we've met before, but have you ever heard of the lip bar?
Yes, I'm familiar with the product.
Yes. So the founder, Melissa Butler, like I said, I met her a long time ago at an event, but I've just watched her journey of when her and her partner, they were on Shark Tank.
I remember. Yes.
And the sharks just ate them alive, said, it wasn't a viable company, blah, blah, blah. And Melissa has grown the lip bar phenomenally, right?
Yes.
Over these last, I'm gonna say, good 10, maybe 12 years. And she's just so humble. She's went from being the face of the lip bar to now it's ambassadors, right? Is all of these people that support the lip bar, and she's just in the background just living her best life. I don't even know if she still live here, but
okay. Is she from Baltimore originally?
No,
or
she's
her?
from
Okay.
Detroit.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice.
But I feel like she might be living abroad internationally. Like she don't have a care in the world. I mean, obviously as a founder, you have so much responsibility in business and stuff. But the way she shows up on social, she's just like, I'm doing my own thing and I'm good.
Listen, that is so funny that you shared her. I recall her brand because of her lipsticks, and she had those colors. The color was always popping. And so, yeah, that's amazing that you met her in real life and you follow her journey. And then here we are years later, and she left a mark on you just from seeing her image and, meeting her and learning about her story. Yep. Okay, that's amazing. So thank you for that. And I like to ask that question because it does help frame kind of your POV, like your perspective, and who are some influences that kind of help you keep you going, and also shaping some of the work that you do. So thank you for sharing those. That's very insightful. So Bianca, let's get into the conversation. If you could, for the record, state your name, your location, your profession / career, and family life. So, because I do like to kind of integrate that women wearing multiple hats. So any kind of family life you'd like to share with the audience.
Sure. So again, I'm Bianca Wise. I am president and owner of Home Helpers Home Care up here in the Baltimore metropolitan area. So what that means is that we are helping our older adults stay safe, happy, and thriving in their homes. We do that through providing personal care, companionship, and light homemaker services. Now, aside from that, I'm also founder of the Mindset Snob, where I help people get their mind ripe for success.
Hey.
Along with that, I'm an author, as you mentioned, mindset strategist. And I'm a wife. I'm a dog mom. I'm a home girl.
Okay.
So, like all the things.
Nice. Listen, I have to shout you out real quick because I had to be on brand today. You know what I'm saying? I got my minding my business and the playbook mindset. I got dripped with the branding from Bianca when she graced us with her presence down here in Atlanta, Georgia. So, shout out to the brand. Now, since I'm talking about it, now tell us about the minding my business. What am I working today?
Wow. So evolution, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to your podcast. So the Mindset Snob actually started as minding my damn business. Minding my damn business started from my belief of how I have reached success in every stage of my life. I honestly just stay focused. I stay focused on my vision. I don't know who is doing what. I don't care who is talking about what. The world could be falling apart. And Bianca's going to be in her little space minding her business. Like, and so when you think about my journey, and again, all the successes that I've reached so far, that's it. Put the
That's the
blinders
key.
on, stay focused, and mind your damn business.
Listen, I love that. So if you don't take anything from this podcast, I want you to remember to always be minding my damn business. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, gosh, it's so funny because it's like that's literally a philosophy, right? And some of us, me, can get so easily distracted by things that ain't got nothing to do with you.
Nothing.
Like it don't have nothing to do with you. And especially with social media trying to be so political and trying to force people into thoughts. And it's like, what if I just don't care? What if I need to be focused on what I'm focused on? What if I just need to mind my business? And Bianca, we're going to get into a little bit about your story as well. But like I said, y'all, if you don't take nothing else from this podcast, just remember to mind your business and center yourself, which is another way to say mind your own business. Okay.
Please.
So Bianca, you are CEO of Home Health and also CEO of the Mindset Snob, but how did you even get into this world of entrepreneurship? Because I am familiar with you having a career prior to both of these. So let's talk a little bit about your early career and how you navigated your own path.
Oh my goodness. So
we're going all the way to the beginning.
No, I'm okay. No, so the abbreviated story is I spent the bulk of my I spent 20 years in the fire service. So I was up here in Baltimore. I worked for the Baltimore County Fire Department. I started as a paramedic firefighter. And so early on, I knew that my purpose was to serve people. Mm-hmm. Now, through trial and error, I didn't really know how that looked until 9/11 happened.
Okay.
At that time,
tell me about 9/11. So where were you? What were you doing? And how did that shift your timeline?
So I was working for FBI headquarters with my mom because when I graduated from high school, I dabbled in college a little bit. And then I made the decision that college was just not for me at that time. So my mom said, well, you know, Black mama, she's like, well, you either going to go to school or you going to get a job. Yeah. So, and it ain't going to be no McDonald's, and that ain't just shoot down nobody, you know, but my mom was like, you need a real job. So I ended up working with her. And the situation with 9/11 happened September 2001. And I remember that day so vividly. I remember the fear because we were in Washington, D.C., and there was that Flight 93, United 93. Nobody knew where this plane was going. They said it was either headed for the Capitol or the White House, and the FBI building like sits right in the middle. So we're scrambling, trying to get home. You know, back then we didn't really have sophisticated cell phones. I had a pager, you know, so that commute from Baltimore back, from DC back to Baltimore, it wasn't until I got home that I learned that the towers had fallen. And just to fast forward, I took like the whole week off because I could not process at that point. I was like maybe 20. I was 20. And I couldn't process at the time what had just happened. Like in front of me, literally, you know. And so I went back to work, and just somberness, you know, the Pentagon, all of that stuff. And throughout those weeks, you know, the media just kept showing the rescue efforts and the first responders. And I was like, man, this is very interesting. So I said to myself, I don't belong in a cubicle. I belong somewhere helping people. And so a month after 9/11, I quit. That was my first pivot. I quit the FBI. My mom flipped all the way out. Okay.
I know. She was like, girl, what you doing?
What are you doing? Right.
Leaving your good government job.
That good government job, right? Man. But I took a leap, right? So I ended up working for an emergency department because I kind of saw that, like, you know, emergencies, I can help, I can jump in. So I became what they call a patient care tech, pretty much a nurse assistant. So worked in the emergency department, developed relationships with a lot of the firefighters and EMTs that were coming in. And then that's how I learned about what the fire department really did. You know, a lot of people don't understand when you say fire department, they think that's firefighters showing up. Right. Most departments are dual trained. So if you are sick and you call 911, the fire department ambulance is going to show up. If your house is on fire and you call 911, the fire engines are going to show up. Gotcha. So again, just to fast forward, got focused, right? Like was dead in on how do I get into the department? Because this is where I see myself. I can help people. I have, you know, fulfillment. And so I just worked hard, became a paramedic, applied for Baltimore County and got hired. And the rest is history.
literally. Because I do want to shout you out, obviously, because you know, one of the big barriers that you were pushing as serving as the Baltimore County's first African-American female firefighter lieutenant. So I mean, what? And wow. So first of all, let's give some snaps for that. Snaps, claps, all of that, because I personally have never seen that image, Bianca. I will be frank with you, and I'm pretty sure there were others in your community who has not even seen that image. That's why this space right here is so important, okay? We got the first of Baltimore counties, and I am not hyping it up, but I'm also hyping it up because it's just remarkable that you as a Black woman, and then to even hear how you thought like your passion came through and then to manifest it into an actual career. And then 20 years later, you're also breaking barriers as the first African-American female firefighter lieutenant. So like, let's get into the part where you, first of all, thank you for your service, right? That's just amazing. And let's talk a little bit about first, I guess when that happened, like when you realized, wait, am I the first? Like, what? Like, how did that even happen to where you actually? Because you kind of got to get conscious of the position while you're in the position. So, what did that look like? Just coming to that realization when you did kind of hit that 20-year mark, but then also, getting higher up in the ranks as a firefighter lieutenant.
Well, the timeline. So, just to put some context around it, I actually got promoted at my 9th year of service. Which that's not heard of. So that just shows the level of ambition that I have and I had. And so to answer your question, I knew the very first day I walked into recruit school. I knew it because the very first day of recruit school, that's all the admin work. You filling out all your paperwork. You're meeting all these big important chief officers and ranking officials and all of that. And I said to myself, why aren't there any people that look like me? You know, all the important people that showed up, even from the union, like the union president and all, these were all old white men. Every last one of them. Didn't even see a female, in rank. And so that very first day, March 17th, I took a sticky note and I wrote on a sticky note that I was going to promote to an officer within 10 years of my career. Now, I didn't say Black or whatever. The goal was for me to promote within 10 years, within the first 10 years of my career. That sticky note stayed with me for my career. And then I went to, I put it in the back of my locker. So every day I was at work, when I opened up my locker, I could see the vision. I could see the goal.
Yes.
It manifested. I promoted to the rank of lieutenant at 9.5 years.
Wow. That's
Yep.
amazing. And then you wrote it down, you made it plain, and you
Yep.
took it with you everywhere. So you didn't lose sight. Literally did
Nope.
not lose sight of the goal. Wow. And I bet I can only imagine like some days were very hard, right? Maybe more
Every day.
harder. Exactly. Like could you share it? Because now I'm being nosy. Now you giving me like, oh, you know how there's those TV shows. There's a lot of TV shows out nowadays about like some of the work that you do and like first responders. So can we do a little story time about a time where you were doing the work, but it was probably maybe something that was really fulfilling or just like a crisis, if you will, where you're like, I can't believe we were able to help these people or this family. Do you have anything that kind of sticks out?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the biggest impact for me it was always around the holiday time. Like, guaranteed somebody's house is going to burn down.
What?
Yeah. So people don't understand when they bring in live trees, those trees have to be watered frequently. And when you let them dry out and all the lights and all the heat in the home, that type of stuff will spark fires. And so it like clockwork, every holiday season, I would cringe because I knew, somebody is going to lose their home. Somebody is going to lose, precious gifts, sometimes their life, all of that type of stuff. And so it's being a medic, being a first responder is absolutely selfless, right? So I have these quirks about me where I hate cold weather, right? But during that time when you show up and there's an entire townhome community displaced right around Christmas time, it's 20 degrees outside, everything's burnt down, everything is destroyed. I forget about my own disdain for being out here in the cold for multiple hours at a time, trying to wait on Red Cross and things of that nature to help get people, support. And it just so happens, being in a toxic, oppressive environment, thinking back, a lot of times there were situations where I honestly showed up and the result was very honorable, However, the bureaucracy and the toxicity of the department, I was always found to be guilty of a SOP violation or something. And it's like, y'all know that shock trauma really is just about to honor me for a hero's award, right? But I'm on like 3 or 4 departmental charges because they claim whatever.
Okay.
So, the one thing that I will say in regards to my fire service career is that it really built the resilience in me and the resilience that I try to teach others that is required. You just got to keep getting back up.
Yeah.
There will be situations, there will be people, there will be environments that will knock your head straight off, right?
Yeah.
But as long as you are still breathing and I still have breath in my body, you better hope I don't get back up. Because when I get back up,
you're gonna wish I wasn't up. Like, I'm coming for you.
Exactly.
That okay. Because I think, and I really appreciate that because resilience is a topic we like to discuss here on the show. And I feel like, especially in as Black women in America, navigating bureaucratic spaces, anything political, even founders, like you mentioned, the Lit Bar founder earlier, we always have to be just so resilient. And
do it so gracefully, right?
Exactly.
You can't be emotional. You can't be, I was always, considered by some, not all. You know, I see my white peers, oh, they're confident, you know, and they're competent. I'm arrogant and attitudinal and hard to work with. And I'm like, I'm not even doing anything.
Exactly. Do you have any advice? Because I struggle with that. I'm not gonna lie. I struggle with that. Like, it's a constant struggle. I remember I was on a team and I wouldn't even speak. I didn't even say nothing. Like, I'm on the call. It's 12 other people. And I just so happen to be the only woman of color. Giselle, how was your weekend? How are you? I'm like, why y'all? I'm just sitting here chilling. Like, why y'all got to talk to me? Like, why are you trying to figure out what I'm doing? Like, I didn't even know you could see me. Like, I thought I was off video. Like, so what advice? Because I'm being so sincere. Because I ain't gonna lie, I'm tired of hearing that. And I'm not young, but maybe I'm young, whatever. I'm a millennial, right? And so Be Wise, I know you are Gen X, kind of, you know, different mindset. And that's really what we're here to talk about today is mindset. And then you have maybe your mother or like my mom, she's a boomer. And so she's super resilient. Like, she don't hear no emotions. Like, what you talk about? Like, you better get your money. Like, you need to shut up. But I'm like, no, I just feel. She's like, feel what? And it's like so many. And then your mom was probably a whole different level of resilience and like being fierce and showing no signs of distress or anything. And like, wow, I love that for us. It's just hard. And Bianca, please give us some tips or advice. Like, how do you continue on this resilience path or just continue to like fight? Because the fight in me, sometimes I be tired of fighting. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So what do you have?
Well, that's part of my story. You know, very early on in my career, it was a complete culture shock for me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a girl straight out of Baltimore. Like, straight out of Baltimore. So for me to enter into that culture, white male dominated uniform paramilitary personnel, it was hard.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, I do recognize that everybody is not the enemy. That is something that I had to recognize. There were advocates for Bianca. There were allies, supporters for Bianca. And that allowed me to relax a little bit, you know, because when you just show up in defense mode all the time, that's not good for you.
Facts.
So once I promoted the environment, it honestly started closing in on me. You know, being the first, you know, is honorable. It's, you know, all of that. But on the flip side, there's a dark side of anybody who has ever stepped into being the first anything. You break a ceiling. And so you are disrupting the status quo. And now you're like responsible without even understanding a whole shift, a whole culture change.
Yeah.
And many don't like it.
True.
So in 2012, when I promoted to lieutenant, I was experiencing, you know, I was showing up every day, just having to claw and fight and be defensive, right? And I started my side hustle.
Okay.
So to answer your question about this entrepreneur journey, in order for me to be able to decompress, I had to find balance, which I started a side hustle called B Foxy Fashion Jewelry. And we sold fashion jewelry, beautiful fashion jewelry. And I built a brand around it.
Nice.
During that time, I decided that I was going to learn everything about entrepreneurship. Nice. Brand building, marketing, supply, distribution, customer service, all of it, right? B Foxy went a very long way. Like, if you were to Google B Foxy today, I'm sure that you would see like some stories, some names. Tammy Roman was our brand ambassador for a while. Like, the basketball wives wore the jewelry. Like,
wow.
I took my side hustle seriously. Right.
Yeah. Look, because you be minding your business.
Exactly.
Wow. So you were able to like decompress, and it sounds like creating space for your feminine energy to flow and to be creative and just kind of make sure that Bianca is good because, you know, the environment you were in, like you said, male dominated. And so you created space for your feminine energy to just flow. And it was a way to decompress. That's awesome. That's what you got to do sometimes. Well, I feel like all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until you get to I got to that point where I'm not fighting systems anymore. Yeah. You know, and this is what I share with people. You have 2 times to come complaining to me about your corporate world. I'm gonna tell you to quit because you can't keep fighting. You're either going to conform and align and ride it out into whatever your retirement or whatever it is, or you're gonna leave.
Yeah. And
for me, that's what it was. In 2018, I woke up and I was like, yeah, I'm done. Like y'all can have it. You can have it. I'm not fighting anymore. You know, I'm not. And I was one of those vocal people. So my stance wasn't just for me. It was for the other people that look like me. Right. Yeah. But then in some instances, those people that look like me, they didn't really care about the struggle. Yep. So I'm like, well, y'all seem like y'all good. I'm not. And so it was a very drastic decision. On August 18th, 2018, I just woke up one day. It was 3 weeks before I was due to be married. And I said, I'm quitting. Yeah.
And just left. So this was you leaving the fire, your career in the fire department with the fire department.
Yeah.
Girl, I mean, I could only imagine the things that you dealt with. And we don't have to go into that because, you know, this is America, right? So you could just take a wild guess of all the.
Look, I'm sitting like the whole political climate right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, that stuff was going on like 20 years ago. Like, I'm appalled that y'all didn't even know all of this stuff was going. That was my life.
You see, and you sitting here, they talking about DEI. You were the literal, like I'm the diversity. I am diversity. Like, what you mean?
Exactly.
So thank you for waking it up. And like I said, we ain't gotta go there, but we will say that it is so important to choose, pick. There comes a point in your life where you will have to make a choice. And there is a conversation about the fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And since you are our mindset strategist, talk to me a little bit about what that is. So fixed mindset, like maybe the folks who would stick around, like I'm just going to stay. I think I'm going to just work, like I'm going to do it. I get my retirement versus a growth mindset where you're like, I want more. I got to grow. Yeah. So what's your take on that? Like fixed mindset versus growth mindset?
That's the perfect analogy, Giselle, because I'm gonna tell you, when I first started Be Foxy, I enjoyed building that brand so much. But the fixed mindset, my environment, I was conditioned to believe, well, Bianca, this has to remain a side hustle until you ride out 30, 35, sometimes 40 years of service and you retire and you get your nice little monthly retirement check. And then you can spread your wings and get more into, you know, full-time business ownership. And I actually believed that for a while. You know, my mindset was, okay, I made lieutenant. I'm going to just keep going to captain and chief. And and then I'll retire. Well, God keeps sending you messages, right? They knock you over your head, you know? So a lot of times when we sit in there in disgust or frustration because we feel like somebody is doing something to us or we're not being seen. No, that's these little messages upside of our head saying, this ain't your room. Move. dodo,
Right.
So it wasn't until I started networking,
Okay.
again, I took my side hustle seriously. I was out in these streets. I was hopping planes. I was down in the A. I was out in LA, DC, New York. I was all over the place with Foxy, right? And you start meeting people who are doing great in business, revenues of 100,000 a month, 100 million a year. And it's like, well, wait a minute. How are you doing what you're doing? I'm making $104,000 a year, I think, at the time. And you said that you made 10 million last year. Like, teach me. I want to know.
Yep.
And so you just start to surround yourself with people. This is so important. Surround yourself with the people who are in the spaces and the places that you aspire to be. So even though I was side hustling, my network of people were full-time business owners, like doing the damn thing. So it just starts to your own expansion starts to show up, and you get more and more disgusted when you have to go into work and you're going back and forth with somebody who is not smarter than you at all, right? And that growth mindset kicks in because people who live this soft life or whatever the term is now. And they're not exchanging their time or their energy for money. They're exchanging their ideas and imagination and communication for millions. And so you kind of build up this confidence, like, F y'all. Like,
I'm telling you.
Right. And then just seeking out, I cannot express the importance of seeking out mentors, people who will help you, people who will talk you through your blocks, your limiting beliefs, what you think you can't do. Like, if I did it, like, so if I can do it, I know you can do it.
Right.
And it really is just building that environment that will continue to nurture, understanding that you said it earlier, we're placed here through the image of our creator to continue to create. Humans are here to be expansive. We're not here to be stuck. If that was the case, we would be a tree.
True.
We're not a tree.
We're not.
We're not a tree.
We're not.
So people are, we're held back based off of the conditioning, the fear, the health insurance, the paycheck, what ifs. Well, what if it works?
True. Because it's going to work if you believe that it works.
That's it.
I love it. I mean, this is tea because it's just so, especially now on the planet, because I do go planetary with it. We are definitely in a transformative era on our planet, right? We're in the age of Aquarius, or entering the age of Aquarius, which is all about transformation. That's why we're seeing so much technology coming in, and AI, and different career paths, and just people just doing them and getting really paid a really good amount of money for being themselves. And authenticity is key. And so what we were taught, like similar to what you kind of, your experience, that won't work today. It worked then. It definitely worked. There was a time where it worked. That system worked. And now it does not. It's failing very quickly. And so you have to pivot. And like, I love you use the word imagination. That's what I love to inspire here, even through these conversations. Like, what can you imagine yourself as, or being, or who do you want to be? Like, because we're really writing our own script. And transformation, I think it can be scary, but it's necessary. Like, when you left, so when you left the fire department, what did that look like? So you're about to get married, and your husband probably was like, girl, he's probably like, come on, baby, I got you. Like, where'd that go?
So my vision, and I had a conversation with him because it never included a plan B. So so that's another thing people gotta realize. And I think Will Smith said this. There is no plan B because it distracts from plan A. Yeah. So if I was to enter into leaving a 20-year career based off of, well, if it don't work, I'm getting that cannot be it. Okay. So my vision was, I gotta make this work. And I told him, look, if you want to push the wedding date back, let me know, because I'm going into uncertainty. And I don't want to bring you along with this because this is delusion. Like this when you tell this story of a young Black woman who just got up one day, I wrote a 3-page letter, resignation letter. And it pretty much said, I knew I was burning the bridge.
Yeah.
I told my employer to kiss my. There was no going back. Okay. There was no asking for forgiveness. Oh, I wasn't thinking, I'm sorry. No, it was no. I burnt the bridge. This is delusion for most people. And so I told him, this is your out, yo. Like, because I don't even know what's going to happen. Right.
Yeah.
But he was like, and everybody, said, yo, if you could make it there, like if you could break the glass ceiling in a 180-year history of a fire department.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you can't do.
That's true.
I was like, well, let's do it. So the one thing that I will say, please, your vision has to be you. Don't bring other people into the vision. It's not for them. It's not for them. And to put that type of pressure on people, I personally think is not fair. We have obligations and responsibilities to our relationships, but people are people. And we have to respect the boundaries of our relationships as well. So for me to think that, oh, I'm gonna be good because I'm getting married, that's a bunch of shit. Yeah.
So need to go ahead and pop that bubble a little bit, because that's the bubble that the girls are living in now on the line. They be like, I'm just working so much, I'm just ready to get married. But like married. That's not how that works. Cinderella ain't it's not based on a true story, huh? No. See, and I don't care what color you are. I'm gonna wake that up, because it ain't just the Black girls, the white girls, the Asian girls, all the girls around the world who run the world. Girls are waking up to the fact that marriage is a beautiful, beautiful relationship. Beautiful. Absolutely. I mean, I love being married, but the work of you, of your personal mission, of your personal story, of your success, whatever God has placed in your heart, that mission must continue.
That's it.
And that's the part I think that some of the girls, even if you are in your single season and you're looking to get married, just know that in marriage, it now becomes a journey with you and your spouse, right?
Yep.
But your journey is still very personal, and you have to continue to do the work. I think I was definitely guilty of like not running away from my mission, but thinking that I could hold it off a little bit. Like, all right, I'm gonna put it over there and I'm gonna just do this. But Spirit was like, girl, what is you doing? Like, you need to get back in formation. You need to get back in position. Like, you need to wake up, like,
I'm gonna be real. I am 100% straight, no chaser.
Yeah.
Sometimes super ambitious women, we have to be single. I'm gonna just put it out there, because, and this might be a whole nother topic, right? But our generation, especially y'all, like y'all millennials, like I'm on that millennial Gen X thing, right? But we're teaching women to now step into their own, but we're not teaching the men how to support that.
True.
So it's like unequal yokeness or whatever. I don't know what the term is, but it's our grandparents, great grandparents. They were gender roles and very strict gender roles.
True.
The man goes out the house, he supports the house, he's the head of the household. But that means that grandma pretty much stayed home, raised the kids, did all the domestic work. But now, we out, women
going
out
to work,
the house more than the men.
Getting money. And then sometimes getting money at home. And I like to wake this up on this show. So it's funny you even brought that up. That's a very poignant point in conversation, because I like to ask that question. Like, and really what we're doing is showcasing the modern woman, the woman of today, right? And what it looks like. Like, let me get behind the image. Let me see. Okay, girl, now what's your business? Are you married? You got kids? How are you doing this and that and this? And then how can I learn from you? And so that's literally another reason why I created this space. And I hear what you're saying, because I actually have a friend of mine who is a millennial woman, and she is very successful in her finances. She's corporate, like she did the do. I'm starting to notice some of my girlfriends are calculated. Like you calculated, and then some of us aren't as calculated. But for the girls who are calculated, they didn't ran them calculations up back and forth, and they living in the frequency that they was calculated. But they do desire marriage. They do desire companionship, but that stuff ain't calculated. And it's hard to calculate when you got your calculations so good.
Because, and I feel like we're about to go to the left. Is it the institution of marriage that you're desiring, or is it companionship?
Yeah.
Now, being in elder care now, I have a full circle moment of understanding the life cycle.
Okay.
Right? And so, as much as we're divided specifically in this country, humans need humans.
True.
Right?
True.
The heart leads with love, whatever. Right. And so a lot of the clients that we work with, we see that it's more so of the companionship than marriage. Because as you age, you don't want to be alone.
Yeah, you don't.
You want someone that you can spend time with, travel with, joke, ha with, romantic nights, whatever. Does that require it to be a marriage? This is just a question. I'm married, so
we married, but so funny, so convenient,
right? But
it's honestly, up for. I'm about to say, I see why you posed the question, because we're married, and I personally am pro marriage for my personal reasons. For me, like, it's personal. But like I mentioned earlier, we're in the age of Aquarius where things are different. Everything is different. So there is no such thing as the age, like we all do this or we all do that. And that's why I appreciate where we are in the world, because now you can literally just be who you are and not feel any type of way about how you view your womanhood, how you view your manhood. Like those different elements are no longer put in a box. You know what I'm saying? And I love what you were saying earlier about like kind of like compatibility and making sure the men are rising to the occasion, because the women have been really going up against what our grandparents endured, right? So my theory, this is a theory. I'm pretty sure there's research out there, but this is my theory, that like some of the Gen Xer generation, whatever they saw their mothers doing, more particularly if they were in like a traditional marriage and they saw things that they did not want to do, right? So the 90s woman, we'll say like women in my mom's age group, the 90s woman, so in the 90s she was like in her high moment, she wanted to get out the house and go to work and be independent, right? Like make her own money and not have to be in a relationship to be able to go buy a house and have a bank account. Those are very important independent clauses. Like I get that, right? But then here come the 90s woman's children, So we was born like in the 80s. Right. We come in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, and we see your mama doing all this working. And I'm like, I'm trying to do what grandma was doing. Now you working too much. Like, I want to sit down somewhere. And so then we have this dynamic. And I feel like with millennials, it's split. It's split. Some women are like, I want to be traditional. But then some women like, I don't want to do that. I just want to live my best life and travel and just enjoy myself. And some women have, maybe they have a child or, you know, they're a single mother, quote unquote, but they having a good life. You know what I mean? Like their children, they traveling the world with their kids. And so I just love the fact that we have choice. We have options, but also back to what you said earlier, Bianca, you got to mind your business so that you can know what's going to work for you. Exactly. Because it's still a you choice, you know,
and that's what's so important as women, like as people, but specifically speaking from the interest of Black women, make the choice that's best for you.
For you,
you know, when I got married, I was 39 years old.
Okay, was that your first
second marriage?
Look, I'm like, was that your like, my second? Okay.
I was, and my husband, I have had this conversation. Had my husband not shown up when he showed up, how he showed up, I was on my way to cross the ocean and start having fun over there. Okay.
Right. Just live, enjoying the world.
The Spaniards, all like, like, what's the thing? They them all, sis. You know, but it's for me, in my personal opinion, it takes a lot, you know, for me to get to that level where I was a whole person. Yeah. See, my first marriage,
I like that.
I was young, you know, it was the idea of having the fairy tale wedding. Nobody taught me about marriage.
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
And so that was a whole mess, a whole nother probably episode. But throughout my 30s, like halfway through, I was divorced by 28. So from 28 all through my 30s, I was able to heal. You know, I was able to become a whole person, not seeking something. You know, women, we're out here chasing too much. That goddess energy, that feminine divine, we're not supposed to chase a damn thing.
So
we're supposed to sit on our throne and let everything come to us.
Yes.
So I wasn't chasing no man. I wasn't stunting these people.
Okay.
My husband, he just showed up. And you know, it evolved from that. Yeah. But as women, make the choice that I knew a long time ago I did not want children.
Okay. Yep.
And
it wasn't for you.
No. First of all, we worked when I was in the fire service. I worked 10 hours during the day and 14 hours overnight. Number one, who watching a kid 14 hours overnight? Like, this is what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
My second thing, again, straight no chaser. I ain't never really like a dude that much where I'm like, oh, I want to hang your baby. What? Oh no. So you know, but people and generally other women look down on that, like something's wrong with me, and other women that decide that motherhood was not for people. Mainly other women don't understand that, and it's like, no, I'm good. I promise you I'm good.
Right. And that goes back to, and that's why I'm so glad we created this space. But it's like, we need to be able to have open up the door a little bit now. Don't just crack open and be like, oh, you got the husband, you got the kids, it's just so perfect. Nah, open the door all the way and let me see the full picture. Like, that is what we need to see. And I feel like me personally, I've always been a very conscious and self-aware child. Okay. When I was a little girl, I wasn't doing nothing but watching everybody around me taking notes. And I had the gift of having a boomer silent generation, which was my grandma who raised me, my boomer mama, who was the 90s woman. What? I'm about to go on by love my mama. I told you about her. She's a diva. Okay. Then I got my auntie who was the rich aunt. She truly was the rich aunt. And love her today. I mean, she just was the rich aunt. She was the one we would go to concerts with, go to Disney World. Like she ain't had no kids. She ain't had no man. She was just doing her thing. Exactly. And I just, you see, and so I was able to like look at all these different images and be able to kind of create my own version of what I saw fit for me. And so I want the girls and even guys who watching this, like you have to be intentional and conscious as you live out your timeline. I remember I always used to say, okay, I'm gonna move to Atlanta. I'm gonna be married and I'm gonna like be an entrepreneur and I'm gonna start my family and but I'm gonna be my own boss. Like I did not want to work because I knew what it looked like to work, a lot. Like you either corporate and you winning and you getting your money and you like got the material, or you might have to take a few, not losses, but like it ain't gonna be so path is gonna be so clear. But then you can make that happen for you too, but it's just going to look a little different. And that's where the imagination come in. And like you said earlier, nowadays people are making $100,000 a month even on TikTok, right? Like money is just so feminine. It will just come to you if you command it. But like you have to think a little critically about how you want to be set up. And like I have a family member and, she has multiple children and things like that. And she's single. And I'm like, girl, your life ain't set up to be single. Like you need a hug, like you need a man. Okay. Like and some women are like that. And I'm looking like it ain't a choice. Like you need to go hurry up and get a husband because the way your life set up, she done had a man her whole life. Right. And so she's literally the type of woman who's always in a relationship. And it's like when you set your life up like that and then you try to be, I'm single outside. No, you ain't.
Yeah, no.
But because your life is set up where you need to be having a man there, like
a structure.
There you go. You got to have some structure, like and for women who are whole. I love what you said. Some women, because of their timeline, they choose wholeness first. Yeah. And I feel like that's what I did because I just, like I said, I've always been very conscious. So I've been whole this whole time, like very wholesome in myself. But then when I was ready to receive a husband, then I started changing up my life a little bit so that I could receive a man for me. But yeah, it's very deep, y'all. So don't just think you can just be scrolling social media and be like, oh, I want that. Girl, you got to get to work. You got to manifest it. You have to set your intentions. You got to like pick a career path that aligns with what you want. Like if you value freedom, then you don't need to be a nurse working 12-hour shifts Monday through Friday and on the weekends. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
So Bianca, let's jump into the mindset because I feel like we just really went into our own personal mindset, right? And like how you came up with the mindset snob. What does it stand for, the word snob? And talk to us a little bit about that because we was in a firefighter era, then we came into home health. And how did the mindset snob kind of come about?
Well, it really is just me understanding the platform that I am on now and just the obligation I have to help other people gain their freedom and their enlightenment. And so snob stands for seeking new opportunities boldly. Nice. And it really aligns with a growth mindset. When you're just out always seeking new opportunities, you expand. Yep. So, once I was able to get my home healthcare business up and going, the story with that is within 4.5 years, I got it over 7 figures in revenue. Wow. I have an entire team that runs my company.
Wow.
And so now I have that somewhat freedom to now seek new opportunities with professional development, personal development, things that I really have a passion for to help other people and, be a beacon of light for them to try to guide them to their purpose.
Wow. Yeah, I would say you are an serial entrepreneur. That's a term that, has been used. I would definitely say that, even as, working in a more structured firefighter space, but then also just continuing to pivot and grow, even now that you're in a new space and still growing. Like, that's very admirable. And I definitely want to encourage those who are watching this to always keep growing. And if you feel like you're stuck, then you're going to have to do something to shake some stuff up, right?
Move. Just
move.
Take the next step.
Okay.
Take the next step. That's it.
Okay. Just move. And that's very important. Like, I was actually watching, it's called the Great Migration series on PBS, but they have it on YouTube. And I just started watching it today, but it was literally talking about the Great Migration after slavery ended, and how Black folk, Native or African Americans, some people got their one-way ticket to the north, right? They went to Detroit, St. Louis, Baltimore, New York. They left. Then some people decided to stay in the South, or they stayed where they were, hoping that things were changed, because they were given all these promises. Maybe that's where the 40 acres and a mule kind of conversation came up. But they were like giving out all these incentives, like, just stay here. We're going to make y'all have a good life down here in Alabama, here in the South. And y'all, they did not follow through with those promises. And what I always comment, I'm in the South, I'm in Atlanta, but I did my own version of a Great Migration, because I'm originally from North Alabama, and I had to get up and move so that I could literally, and I was just like, why I gotta do all this? And I ain't number 20, but I had to like move, like get out of my environment so I could grow. But I'm just now putting some things together after seeing that. And if y'all check it out on YouTube, it's just good, especially for African American history. But I love the girls from Detroit, the girls from Baltimore, the girls from North Carolina. That's where my roots are. My grandmother and them, they're from North Carolina. But them girls in Detroit, when I say they know how to move, and they know how to make some moves and start some businesses, and just, they got a different mindset.
Yep.
Similar to what we're talking about today. And the girls from Baltimore, shout out to you. But I meet a lot of women from all over the United States. And a lot of us come to Atlanta. So you got that mindset in Atlanta, but we're not from here. But we can cultivate that spirit here. Like, I know a lot of folks from Detroit, like my first client was from Baltimore, and my second client was from Detroit. So it'd be a vibe, but it's like they be knowing how to get to it because of the mindset. Yeah. And like, and it's ancestral. A lot of that stuff be in your bloodline, right? Yep. It's like, you might not even know your great-great-grandma used to be a cotton picker in Alabama, but some in your spirit saying you got to get up out of here. Or even Oprah, who's from Mississippi, grew up poor. She's like, I'm finna get to Chicago. I got to get up out of here. Yep. And so there is something about environment, and like how your environment can shape or hurt your thought process, or how you view yourself. So like, can you give us maybe some 3 ways or 3 tips on how to really change your mindset? Like, really, if not change, just take it up a notch. Because like we talked about moving, but like, what are some things that we can do to get in alignment with the frequency of who you trying to be, basically?
Yeah, so it is a ever evolving, like it's just like, so I have a practice, right? Because developing a positive mindset or a growth mindset is not just a one and done thing. It's consistent. It's like every morning you wake up and you have a morning routine with, your facial cleanser and brushing your teeth, and that is it. Like every day, right? Multiple times a day. For instance, I have an alarm on my phone that goes off 4 times a day. And when that alarm goes off, that is my mindset moment for me to check in. What am I thinking about? Who am I surrounded about? Surrounded by? Where am I? And that's a check. Like, is this environment that I'm in, is it somewhere that is serving me? The people that I'm surrounded by, are these people that are serving me? My own thoughts, are these thoughts that are serving me? If not, I need to check it.
Yeah.
And shift. So a lot of people think, oh, you can't just throw thoughts away, right? Thoughts can never be destroyed. What you have to do is replace thoughts, you know. So let's say that I'm down and out, you know, on a particular day. My alarm goes off at noon. I check in. Okay. I can't throw that depression, the depressive thought away, but let me check that. Why am I feeling like this? You know, what is the triggering part of this thought?
Okay.
Again, is it the people that I'm around? Is it the environment that I'm in? Or is it just my monkey mind going? Sometimes I have to journal it. Sometimes it's just a simple, girl, get over yourself. Like, that ain't even, you know, or it's I can't return back to this environment because this environment does not make me feel that. Okay. And I feel like we all have that power. Yeah. You know, again, I think a lot of times our most toxic environments are our workplaces. Right? Or our families, you know, things that we honestly feel like we can't escape from. You can. You absolutely can. Do you have the balls to do it? Okay. You know, because people will, you know, they'll look at you, oh, you acting funny, you don't hang out with us no more. And
just gotta grow. Got to keep growing.
I gotta do me right now. You know, what's the saying? It's not you, it's me.
Listen, you ain't, that is so true. I mean, come on. And it's not, it's at some point you have to make those kind of tough decisions because it's all about you. It's self-love. It's like really loving on yourself. And the more I kind of reflect on where I came from and where I'm at, it don't make no sense when you can try to put it in a calculator. The calculations don't really add up.
The math ain't mathing.
The math ain't mathing. Cause they'll be like, well, how you get here? Like, where did you come from? Like, I just came out of the wind, like Dorothy and Oz. And and now I'm in Emerald City. I'm with Oz. I got magical powers. They're looking like, who are you? Where did you come from? Girl, I came from my imagination because and that's why I want to encourage anyone watching this. Like, it don't matter where you come from, girl. It just matter where you going. You keep your mindset focused on what you have in mind, and the spirit will guide you. That divine feminine will guide you. God will guide you. Goddess, all of the ancestors are always with us, but you can't see them. And when you can't see them, you feel sad. You might feel alone, but know that you are never alone. But there are unseen forces that are always working with you towards your goals. And Bianca, I want to ask you real quickly, because I know one of our former guests on the show, Freya O'Brien, who's a numerologist, I know that she is a part of your network too. So we talked about the unseen and how a lot of leaders, people like yourself, you know, there might not be anyone above you who could really help mentor you or guide you for where you are in your life. And so what are some things that you do, practices that you do? We could dabble real quickly about numerology and just other things that you do to kind of continue to grow yourself and also like self-love and things like that.
Yeah. So one of my practices, I have a strong meditation practice. Nice. My meditation practice started back when I was in the fire department because again, I needed an outlet. So my meditation practice started maybe like 2 minutes of me just closing my eyes. Now I meditate for at least 20 minutes every morning.
What?
And but it becomes, like you said, that unseen.
Yep.
That is where we fail as humans. And in my book, I have a whole chapter dedicated to faith, but faith just being one of those things that is just unseen. You have to believe in the unseen. You have to. But the more positive side of the unseen, you know, people, in my opinion, they always want to throw, oh, the devil is busy, the devil. Well, why are you talking about the devil? Like, why are you even trying to invoke that spirit that, you know? So we're going to stay on this side.
True.
Unseen, right?
True.
So meditation is huge for me. I exercise at least 3 times a week.
Good.
Now, y'all, this is something that I had to work up, and I'm still working up consistency too, because I'm not a get up, oh, let me throw my gym clothes on and I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm not that girl.
Okay.
Now, I'm becoming that girl through just being consistent, not being perfect, just being consistent. I think exercise is a great way to ground yourself, to get centered, so the downloads, the unseen, can come to you, right? Another thing is I read. I'm reading and or listening to something either business related, spiritual related, entrepreneurial related every day. You know, so we spend so much time on social media, and I curate my timelines to make sure I'm following accounts that are serving me and my purpose. But I also am conscious of the time that I'm spending on social media. So I need to come up off of social media and lock into Audible, YouTube, you know, things that I can receive enlightenment and learn about, you know. Gotcha. And those are my 3, you know, being very conscious about my relationships, how I spend my time, being intentional with who I'm exchanging my energy with, you know.
Okay. That's how you do it. I know I love all of those practices. I say I'm right there with you. Social media has, again, things are changing, and I feel like social media is changing for the worse. And so we are all being called to just log off, like get off the apps, like let's turn them off. Like, what else can we do with our time? Okay. Like, go write a book, go read a book, go paint.
It's just
stuff like that.
Social media for me is just like real life. What you focus on is what will keep showing up for you. So if you want to keep focusing on beef and arguing and, you know, division and hate, that's what's going to keep. But you got to be mindful, because that's mental conditioning.
It is.
And even in real life, if all of your circles of people, all y'all do is gossip and talk about other people, and you going to brunch and getting drunk, and like all of that is energy.
It is.
I'm saying not to have fun, because you know I'm a fun girl.
Right,
you know?
right.
But you got to be conscious about everything that you're eating, ingesting, listening to, talking about.
True.
You gotta watch all that. So
you do.
Yeah.
I think as you grow, you can honor your growth. Because I remember, of course, you know, me. There was a time where I loved me a brunch and bottomless mimosas. What was that, like maybe 2016? So like it got trendy, right? And so we were all there. But then after about a year or two, it's like, all right, y'all, we might not need to be drinking that many mimosas in the middle of the day.
Right.
Like,
I didn't
your whole day gone.
Weight. I got pimples on my face. Like my stomach hurt all the time.
Poopy face.
Drink some water.
There you go. We can't.
Eat some fruit.
Exactly. That's true. And like that's detoxing. We're detoxing. And sometimes you gotta detox from people and environments. And that can be hard, but you have to mind your business and know that you have a mission. And that's why I love this space, because you know everybody ain't on that. But the girls who get it. And it really just is transformative, right? It's just a transformative thing. If you can look back, like I just did, like I remember I used to be on that, but I ain't on that now. But then like I have peers who still on that. They like, what time we gonna be going? I'm like, y'all don't want to do nothing else. And that's okay if they don't have to. But that's where I have to decide, well, I gotta decide what I want to do, and to be a center myself, like you said, mind your business. But that's beautiful. I just love that so much, Bianca. I feel like we could keep talking for the rest of the night, but I want to also give a space for people to find out how they could work with you through the Mindset Snob, and like what does that look like, and how they can kind of engage with some of this thought leadership, because I feel like your story is just so inspiring, especially the fact that you already did it, right? You did it. Done it all. Like I'm
making the coins, and I got the receipts. You know, see? I think I hate, again, social media glamorizes entrepreneurship.
It does.
And that ain't it, y'all. What, like those highlight reels and people's twirling and full face makeup. Oh, beautiful. But that ain't it, y'all. It's not it. And
it's the image.
Like, that's it. And when I always say this, if you decide, my community right now are generally women who are transitioning from the corporate world to entrepreneurship. And I tell them, this is a responsibility. When you decide to open a business, you shall always lead with the thought, I am here to serve people and solve their problems. Mm-hmm. It ain't got nothing to do with money.
Yeah.
Nothing. If you're leading with the fact that, I'm going to make all this money, go back to work. Stay in your career. I promise you. Okay.
Yeah.
Because, in order to get to 1.3 million, that takes a lot of people. I didn't make that on my own. And that means I got to pay a lot of people. So just because I made 1.3 million, like 800,000 went out the door in salaries. Mm-hmm. So this is the level, again, a growth mindset. You have to keep growing and become that leader. It's about being a leader. It ain't about being popular. Oh, look at me, I'm an entrepreneur. No, I'm a leader in my space of elder care. I'm becoming a leader in the space of professional and personal development, because my goal is to help as many people as I can help. So to answer your question, you can follow me on Instagram at The Mindset Snob. You can also check out my site at biancawise.com. Nice. Join the community. The third thing is Minding My Damn Business is a podcast. Our second season drops next Monday on the 17th. So look, y'all, go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, the Alive Podcast Network, anywhere your favorite podcast platform is. Subscribe, like, share. I would love to have y'all join me.
Yes, and y'all join. It's the community of like-minded women. I'm definitely gonna subscribe so I don't miss a beat. Because like I said, when we talk about it, it's just it inspires, right? Like storytelling, I feel like is one of the most valuable tools in human existence, even though it doesn't get its credit. But without a story, they telling this story that's been going for now 2,000 years, and they still the story till this day. Like, they gonna tell it this Sunday. They finna talk about the story, and it's like those stories really can change lives just if we just hear about it, And so, Bianca, I am so grateful for our conversation, girl. We could talk. I feel like we could do a round 2, but we're gonna let them. We're gonna let it breathe. And what's your zodiac sign? Because I like to ask that too. I mean,
I am the leader of the zodiac. Okay, Team Aries.
There we go. There we go. I got on my red to support the brand.
Exactly.
Like, the fire. Yeah, so she's an Aries, so you can already hear the fire. She done lit it up, then literally was in the fire department. Like, so that's so amazing. Things just they align like perfectly. Yep. And so I love that. And I think my audience knows this, but I'm a Leo. I'm a fire sign, but it ain't the same kind of fire. My fire is more like this.
Like y'all touchy-feely. Yeah. Ooh, come in. Aries, like, light that shit up. And
I promise.
I got time for that.
That is so true. My first mentor was an Aries. She'd be like, Giselle, you need to read The Art of War. I'm like, what do you mean war? Like, if she knew what she was talking about, I finally read it. My mother-in-law's an Aries. But it's funny, my mom's a Sagittarius, and my grandmother, who also raised me, is a Sagittarius. So they got a different kind of fire too. They light it up from the kind of like in a delusional way. Right. But it's good. But it's like they live in the delusion of the fire. Like, oh, you can do that. I can do that. Yeah. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. We're gonna do it. I just did it. And it's just like, and be like, I'm finna go to Mars, bitch. I'm on my way to space, you know, because they love to travel. So they use their fire to go and like be around and just floating all over the place. But yeah, the Leo, I think we're a little bit more grounded fire sign. Yep. I didn't notice that until I got older. It's like I said, when I meet Aries women, y'all just be lighting the fire up. I'm like, I thought I was a fire sign, but no, it's levels to this.
Leo. My brother's a Leo, and we just. He'd be like, just go. I'm like, look, what we doing? Who else we doing? Like, I need my Timbs, I need my Vaseline. Like, right. Who? He'd be like, no, let me
go talk it through.
Talk. What?
You ready to light some stuff up.
Burn it down. I told you my career. I walked in there with a match and the gasoline.
Like the lady on Waiting to Exhale, Angela Bassett on Waiting to Exhale. I just watched that movie. That movie was it was a cute black girl movie, but that's exactly what she did. She burned it down. But y'all, this is so fun. I thank you so much again, Bianca, for being here.
Thank you.
You just watched episode 17, a conversation with Bianca Wise. This is the Goddess Giselle Podcast. Again, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.